Hello friends, it's your girl Veniece Antoinette
and Amomo
here with another episode of Sip and Spill. And today we have another special guest.
My name is Jonathan Breeden. I'm the CEO of Breeden Enterprises, where success is a commonality. I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Mr. Breeden on Twitter, Jonathan Breeden for both Facebook and Instagram.
And we'll have all of his information in the description box below in case you didn't catch that. Definitely make sure you check out his business and everything he has going. His movement is such a positive change, so make sure you check it out.
Yes.
So, John is here to speak with us about
dating an entrepreneur. While we have an entrepreneur here, we figure why not talk about what goes into dating an entrepreneur. So, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, so John, what do you think is the most important thing to keep in mind when you're dating an entrepreneur?
Well, me being an entrepreneur, so I guess I'm pretty much speaking in case of my wife. The main thing is just support, especially starting out.
Okay.
Things are a little bit more challenging. You need to hear some encouraging words on a regular basis. And it's important whether you're male or female, your significant other is there for you, and not only just, pat you on the back, but let you know when, look, that's not a good idea.
Right.
So having Kirsten, having her in my corner, and in my front, literally all around. She's looking out all the time, and she's very protective of me with dealing with clients,
right.
I guess referrals, anything along those lines in terms of support. She's just there for me. So that's one of the key things, having somebody who's there to support you, not just emotionally, but just, for different ideas and how to grow. So you having that perspective.
So do you believe that in order for a relationship to work with an entrepreneur, the partner has to believe in your dream just as much as you do, or they need to just support your dream?
I definitely agree. They either wise have to believe in it or support it. I mean, I feel like if there's no other, there's no other option. Either wise you're a part of it or you're helping me get that much better. Because I mean, it can get to a point where you're literally grinding, you're working, you're editing videos, you're calling clients, you're texting clients. And then it's like, okay, the significant other's like, yo, I need some time. And if they don't have an understanding, it's just like, yo, you put me on the back burner. Like, I'm here, I'm here for you. Like, so if they're heavily involved, they know what's going on. It's a lot easier to do what you need to do to make your business successful. So the number one thing, I think definitely they have to be on the same page, because if not, I don't think it'll work. Whether it be wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, interest, whatever. It just won't work. So yeah, it's definitely important.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I've even heard from different entrepreneurs I've read up on how when they are dating at the beginning, it sometimes feels like their partner is like their intern, even though it's not intentional. But it helps grow the business and it helps their relationship work because the partner is constantly working alongside of them to move forward with their business.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people too think that the other partner has to be like literally hands-on. Like, just my wife giving me time to work is her helping me. She's not nagging me about what time you coming to bed or why are you out there so long. She's just like, look, I know what you got to do. Just communicate. That's the number one thing. So like, I set up a plan where I already work. I get up early in the morning and I work all day. And then when I get home, I at least want to spend at least an hour or so or more, with her, just talking to her, find out how her day was, besides us texting and talking on the phone throughout the day. But just that eye-to-eye contact, people really put that on the side, because the number one thing is, and people push this aside too, they say, money's not everything, but love don't pay the bills. No matter how much I come home, get my girl kids, tell how much I support her, she supports me. If we ain't making no money, I can't keep doing the business. So with her understanding and me saying I love her, I also need to put that time on the business, which is like, babe, look, without you there is no me. And making that very clear too to her, because either way, it's very hard to split down the line 50-50. Some's going to get more attention than the other. And I already know my wife is way more important than the business. But she allows me to put that time necessary. Because say, for instance, one day I have to spend 2 hours editing a video. Another day I have to spend 2 hours building up a game plan for my clients. Then another time I'm constantly on the phone through emails, ordering clothes, the Believe movement. I'm doing a lot. And she's just like, instead of sitting back like, yo, she's like, all right, what can I do? And not a lot of people, not even just for a female, but for a guy also, they'll sit back like, Dad, when you gonna pay me some attention? So I think having Kirsten in my corner is just like because some people say I'll be doing good by myself. I know I wouldn't. I would not be doing good by myself. So having her chime in, and her perspective is so different than mine. It's like, I'm like, yo, let me do this, let me do that. She's like, hold up, bro. Let me see the price. How much is that? Can we do better? Like, let's just think about this. Don't just be going doing that. And so she helps balance me in that sense. So yeah.
What do you think about people who like to keep their spouse out of their business? Like some people don't like to talk about it. Like when we're at home, let's just be at home. What do you think about that?
Well, I understand it because actually it's kind of hard to say the actual term of how it should work because everybody's relationship is different. So I think if it works for you, do it. But I know it couldn't work for me because in my relationship, Kirsten's so involved with everything I do, and literally when I'm on the phone, I'm talking on the phone, texting her, thinking about her. Some way, somehow, she's going to care about the business.
Right.
So I feel like the conversation will go a lot smoother if she has some skin in the game in a sense, to where it's like, all right, babe, did you send that email? Okay, did that person get back to you? Did you make that phone call? For those people who just want to keep the business, it's probably because maybe they're want to just have that me time, meaning just them and their significant other. Like, look, it's us and the business. But for me, because my company is my name, Breeden Enterprises, it's like we are our business.
Right.
So in a sense, if I fail, she does too because we share the same last name. So in a sense, I have to bring her home because I need her perspective. Without it, it's like, yo, it's one-sided. And that's why I said for y'all, doing this show together is very significant because y'all can bounce ideas off each other and get a more powerful punch.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I do think, even speaking from a female's perspective, for me, I know I appreciate how supportive my boyfriend is for things that I want to do in reference to this show or my own personal things that I'm doing in reference to, trying to get out products or putting up videos, etc. And I appreciate, like you said, with Kirsten, with my boyfriend, he always is like able to see things from an eye that I don't see. Like he's very detail oriented, and it's funny because I was reading a book called Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, and one thing they said is entrepreneurs are visionaries, but they're not necessarily always very good with the details. So what I appreciate with him is that I'm the visionary, but he's very good with the details. Like he's like, okay, that's a great idea, I hear what you're saying, but you need da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, you're so right. Like so it's so helpful. And also part of the reason I asked you the question earlier in reference to having a partner who believes in your product or your business as much as you do versus someone who just supports it, I do think, and this might just be for me, I need someone who's going to actually believe in it as much as I do, because they're going to want to help me as much as possible. And like my boyfriend always says I need to look at my product as my baby, and so it's like he'll ask me almost every day, like, what'd you do for your baby today? Did you feed your baby? How did you feed your baby? Like, he asks me stuff like this all the time, but it's also because he believes in what I'm doing versus someone who's supporting you just because they feel obligated to because you're their partner and that comes with it.
Yeah, it's not really genuine.
And when they don't believe in it, it's possible they could start to become jealous at some point because they don't care about it as much. It's like competing with them in a way.
Yeah, because I've never had, like, in my experience of him saying like, oh, you're not spending enough time with me, sometimes he's like, what can we do to better what you're doing? Like, rather than trying to figure out like, well, you're not spending enough time with me. So I appreciate that. Or like he enjoys watching me do certain things. And I'm sure the same for your wife. She probably enjoys seeing you in your atmosphere.
I mean, I always look at it like this. There's two type of people you're going to have in your corner. You're going to have a supporter or an advocate. And there's two different things. Like a supporter will talk about what you do. It's like, you know what, they do this, they do that, you should join it. But an advocate is going to, give you some sense of direction. When somebody talks negatively against what you're doing, they'll defend you. The supporter won't, though. So that's two different types of people, because at one point in time, if somebody's really not into it, they don't have a choice but to be a supporter because they can't advocate on something they're not involved in. It's almost like getting information from someone who's never done something before. They can only tell you about what they've read about. When you have skin in the game, you got some experience. It's like, yo, here's what I think you should do. So if Kirsten has an idea that falls through, I don't come down on her like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you didn't think that through. It's like she takes that because if she made a mistake on that, she's like, dang, I messed up on that, babe, I apologize. I'm like, nah, look, a mistake you made is one less mistake I make, and a mistake I make is one less mistake you make. We're learning from each other. So I think definitely that is key to understand what kind of person you have in your corner. And my girl is definitely an advocate because even when I'm like, you know what, can you kind of like back up a little bit? She's like, no, you need to be doing this.
So do you think jealousy would ever come into play in reference to if your partner is more successful than you or vice versa?
I think just generally in our society, period, I feel like there should never be no competition if you're with that person, because if I rise, you rise, you know. If my girl, if the shoe was on the other foot, my girl was the one running the business, I think actually I would be even harder than she is on me. You know, in the sense like, yo, you got to do this, because the higher you go, the higher I go. You know, so sometimes people look at that as a selfish standpoint, like, yo, you got to do this for us. Well, they're only saying it so they can actually benefit. But as far as jealousy, I think jealousy is an immature word, especially when you're on the same boat. You know, how can I be mad because you're paddling, you're using a raft a lot harder than I am? Well, in a sense, if I'm jealous, that means I'm not going to use my raft, and we're going to end up going around in a circle because you're the only one working. You get nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's like, why be jealous when we both eating? If my girl, literally, if I was a stay-at-home dad, I'd tell her this all the time. You making a bunch of money, I'm staying home. I'm watching the kids. I don't care. We ain't got kids yet. I told her, I don't care. Because literally, society put different things on you, different standards as a man and as a woman. Here's how you're supposed to be, here's this, here's that, and if that's not in order, you're a failure. No, we live by our own standards. Look, we love God, we love each other, we love people. That's what we're gonna do. You know, and jealousy there's no room for jealousy, because it's not gonna help any of us grow. You know, so.
So like, what major tips would you give someone who is dating an entrepreneur?
One, just be understanding. Understand, especially if they're young. You have to be understanding with what they're trying to figure out. The difference between being an entrepreneur and just working a regular job, and not to downplay a regular job. The difference is every mistake you make costs you money, as opposed to, you know, you can kind of get a warning, or you kind of have a format or a blueprint on how things should be done at work. Now, as an entrepreneur, it's a little different, because, you know, sometimes you got to figure some things out, some things you learn from trial and error. I try and avoid that as much as possible. You know, whether I read a book instead or listen to a video, because I don't firmly believe that experience is the best teacher, because, you know, that can cost you. Some experiences can cost you. So if in that regard, I'd rather learn from somebody else's experiences, you know. So if you're dating an entrepreneur, you got to be supportive, you know, even when things don't look good, or you may not even feel like, yo, I don't feel like saying the right thing. Say something positive, you know, because you don't want that negative vibe, or actually have that person think that you don't believe in them when you really do. So I think one of the things is be supportive of them, give them constant words of affirmation, and pitch in. You know, don't just be on the outside looking in. Like, give me your ideas. What do you think? What time should I run the class? What should I say in this email? Like, get them involved. The more involved you are with the business, the more you'll want to help. You know, the more you will hurt when things don't work out. You know, it's different when you hurt and you on the outside like, oh, that happened. Oh, babe, I'm so sorry. No, when Kirsten's involved, she's like, yo, how can we make this happen? How can we fix this? All right, don't worry about it. Exactly, she's just her. So yeah.
So what tips would you give an entrepreneur to make sure that their relationship still stays intact?
Communication. You got to talk. You have to talk all the time, literally all the time. And for those introverts, it's like, I don't like talking all the time. I like keep to myself. Unless she's the same way or he's the same way, it probably won't work. And not even just a marriage, just period, just being in a relationship with somebody.
Makes sense.
Be involved. You know, don't be hard. Like, a lot of times people confuse being real and being honest with being hard. Like, you can be real and be honest and not hurt somebody's feelings. You know, I see you all the time. Like, for my wife, I see her all the time. I see her every day. So if I'm mad at her, where am I gonna run to? I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna see her all the time. So I'm like, say for instance, we're not on the same page or something. I'm not doing something that or I'm doing something that she doesn't like. I'm not spending enough time or something. She comes and talks to me. She doesn't talk at me. So now it's like, I'm not in a position of offense. So I'm like, yo, why are you talking to me like that? I'm more like, you know, okay, I hear you. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I hear you. The fact of the matter is, you're upset about something. You came and talked to me about it, you know, in a respectful way. Whatever I'm doing, I'm dropping it all. I got you. John, do the laundry. Okay, babe. John, clean the room. Okay, babe. John, clean the bathroom. I don't like that, but I'll do it. You know what I mean? So, exactly. So that's the main thing for relationships, man. Like, one, remember who's at the core of that relationship. It's y'all two. You know, don't let anything on the outside, don't let the business, don't let anything build any type of barrier, and tell everything. Like, if you get a bad email, tell them. Good email, tell them. If you're like, I don't know what I should do, and you know their advice sucks, tell them anyway. You know, and a lot of times people just keep that wall, and I've actually done that. I've kept a wall where it was me, my business, and my girl. Now they're all together, and things are working so much smoother. So I had a camp last week. She's at camp. She's recording. She's telling me, you know, hey, we running late. You need to be there. You know, like, so it's different stuff where relationships can work a lot smoother just if you integrate everything. You know, so communication, spending time, that's That's key.
Back to with your marriage, for example, you spoke a lot on how your wife supports you, and earlier speaking on how she advocates for you. How do you think you support or advocate for her in return?
One thing is, for me, and I'm also working on this, is how to communicate with her on what she doesn't do well. As a female, there's a lot, I think in society, there's a lot on a female. Like literally, okay, you have to take care, if you have kids, take care of the kids. All right, now in the society, independent woman, you work, support yourself. If things go wrong, I don't need a man, I can do this. I understand there's a balance, you shouldn't have to rely on anybody, but I feel like there's so much on a woman. So on top of that, it's like I have to find a way to communicate to her on her level. If you don't know how to talk to your significant other, it's not gonna work. Like, you can't talk at them. You got to talk to them. So once I learned that, you know what, how can I support her? Okay, babe, I know you said this to your client, but you probably should have worded it that way, as opposed to saying, well, why would you say that? That was dumb. I just said the same thing 2 different ways, and one will get received, the other one's just like, no, okay, I'm not hearing that. You know, so that's the biggest thing, like, because it's almost like we do the same thing. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to prevent kids from getting in trouble, become successful, teaching them life skills and everything. Where Kirsten on alternative, what she does is if the kid's in trouble, she tries to keep them out of trouble or make sure that they get to school and all this and that. So we're kind of on different ends of the spectrum, but with the same exact focus. So I would support her by giving her my perspective, like, hey, maybe you should try this for your students. And really, I'll be honest, I need more attention than she does. Like, because I'm an entrepreneur, so one day is different than the other. So she's really, really checking in on me, like, babe, what you doing? Babe, you editing your videos? All right, babe, it's getting kind of late. You sure you're going to be up? What time you coming home? All right, I'm like, and I got to tell her, this is what's going on, that's what's going to show. All right, well, maybe if you did this, you could be done soon. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yes, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But for those, so but for those who are like prideful, like this is my business, like I don't need your help, just stay there. You could just spend the money, I'll take care of you, boo. No, you can spend the money, but help me build it so we can make more money. You know, so I'm not prideful in that sense. And when she needs my help, sometimes for real, I support her by just being quiet. She comes home, she got something to say, I'll just look, what?
Sometimes that's all you need.
For real though.
No, for real. Women, we need somebody to vent to.
I gotta be. That's how I gotta be. But for me, coming from a male's perspective, we don't want that. We want, I got this problem, yo. Help me. Whereas sometimes, and my girls like that too, y'all like that too, but sometimes y'all just like, do me a favor, cover your mouth, right? And just have your ears open. I want you to hear me, you know? And I'm like, and she don't come out and say that. I could just, now that we've been together for so long, now it's like, okay, she don't want me to talk. Okay, all right, I'm gonna listen this time. I'm going, okay,
I think that's an issue every man has to overcome is understanding when their girl really just wants to talk. Because half the time when we just want to talk, we already figured it out. We just want to talk about it. We don't want to hear, well, maybe I didn't ask you what I should do. Like, no, I just want to talk about it.
I was watching the Cosby Show yesterday. It was that exact same scenario. Like, Claire was giving Cliff, telling him something about work, and he chimed in, yeah, I know all about that. She said, Cliff, just shut up. We will have to post that clip.
So that's going to wrap up today's episode of Sip and Spill. Thank you so much, John, for coming.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And again, all his information will be down below, so make sure you check him out. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a big old thumbs up. Also, make sure you check us out every Thursday on Facebook Live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where you can join into our conversations. So, yeah, any input?
No, I think that's it.
All right, so that wraps it up. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.
Peace.
It's fun time.